What's up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about a few 2020 election primaries which have now just occurred. And people have been voting in primaries now all across America in many different states, in both Senate races and House races and probably gubernatorial races, but not so exciting, right? So I want to take you through some of them right now today. So this one is, of course, the 2020 United States Senate election in Georgia, not a special election, but the normal election between David Perdue and Jon Ossoff. Jon Ossoff won that primary, and if you look at how it did, I see he actually pulled ahead basically all the time, and in the end he pretty much ran away with it, with getting more than 40% of the votes in every poll taken from the beginning of May and after that. And yeah, he won with more than 50% of the vote, which of course makes you not have to do a runoff according to Georgia law. So Jon Ossoff is going to do that. Is he likely to win? He's currently not ahead. He is ahead in one poll there taken in May, but both the majority of polls and previous results in the state of Georgia suggest that this is probably going to go to David Perdue. No Democrat has won in that state since the early 2000s. I think Sal Miller was the last Democratic senator from Georgia. And it would be really difficult for Jon Ossoff to turn that around, even as the state is trending in his way. Now, the second one I have pointed out is the one in Iowa's 4th district, because Steve King has lost his primary. He only got 36% of the vote against Randy Feinstra's 45.5%. Clearly, that's quite bad for him. He did not make it, and it means that his congressional career will end. But it does put that district into the safe R column, away from the lean and likely R, and into the safely. And I can see that being good for the GOP, but to be honest, that one was always going to go Republican. It went Republican in a blue wave year. It was going to go Republican in the presidential year, and King was not going to lose. So it would be a much bigger deal if one of the 3 other districts in Iowa moved into lean or likely Republican, or safe Republican for that matter. But yeah, it's not really exciting. Republicans are going to win that seat with a more mainstream candidate. Also, in the 5th district of Virginia, something quite opposite have happened, because Denver Riggleman, who has been by some been called a rhino, he has been defeated in his primary. He was defeated by Bob Good, which is more of a evangelical Christian, more of a traditionalist. Denver Riggleman, I believe he was a guest or participating in gay marriage of some friends, and that did not make him popular. As you can see, it was not a vote across the district, a primary vote, it was a convention vote, and he lost. He only got 42%, so that's an incumbent Republican being defeated by his own party. Sort of a Tea Party thing, a bit like when Eric Cantor was defeated in the neighboring district by Dave Bratt in 2014. Only that this is a much smaller deal, because Eric Cantor was the House Majority Leader. Yes, I think, or Majority Leader, I believe. Now for the House of Representatives for Georgia's 7th and 6th district. Now in the 6th district, Karen Handel won that special election a few years back. Then she was defeated by Lucy McBath very narrowly. And it is now going to be a rematch, and it is some toss-up. Someone call it tilt D, lean D, likely D. But in the polls, Karen Handel is actually ahead. But this is the sort of suburban district where Republicans actually might be overrepresented in the polling. So I find this to be a pure toss-up. I mean, it was a Democratic wave year when Lucy McBath won it, but it was also very close when the Democrats did not win it before that. So it could very possibly go to the Democrats, it could very possibly go to the GOP. Who knows? Karen Handel was endorsed by Trump, to the anger of some more populist voters and commentators. But that's how the matchup is going to be. And most Republicans will, of course, vote for Karen Handel. Now in the neighboring 7th district, which is also sort of a toss-up, we have our primary winner. We have Rick McCormick, which I believe, yeah, he is a physician. Okay, and he was always polling ahead in the primary. He was always going to win that. Facing Caroline Bordeaux. It's a very, very French name. And it is mostly viewed as a toss-up. This, of course, was won last time, I believe, by Rob Woodall. Right? Yeah, Rob Woodall. I actually think that this one is probably going to go to the Republicans. It is not having a Democratic incumbent like the neighboring district. And, Democrats haven't actually won it yet. So we'll see. It will be exciting to find out. Now, the next one. This is a big one, the 2020 US Senate election in Massachusetts. Of course, we are not asking if this is going to go red or blue. It is blue or blue. So the two candidates, Joe Kennedy III, which is the grandson of Robert Kennedy, who was, of course, shot in 1968 when he was about to win his own Democratic primary for president. And Ed Markey, the incumbent, which has been in Congress since, I believe, the 70s. And this is astonishing. Last poll had Joe Kennedy at 58%. That was in May. Haven't been any polling since then, but he has actually been leading in most polls. So I absolutely believe that Joe Kennedy is going to win this. I cannot see Ed Markey coming back. So the only advantage Ed Markey has is that the primary voting itself seems to just never happen. I believe it's like September 1st. But I actually believe that Joe Kennedy is going to be that nominee. So it will be exciting to see how it will be with Kennedy back in the Senate. Of course, there is already John Kennedy from Louisiana, but he might not agree on all issues with Joe Kennedy III. And finally, we have one of the most exciting races, the special election in Georgia for the Senate seat held by Johnny Isakson, who of course resigned because of health. And I am going to make this prediction that Doug Collins will win that. He is more of a outsider. He is more of a people's candidate. Kelly Loeffler was I believe she's a businesswoman. She was appointed by the governor, sort of a lobbyist, an establishment figure, supported by most of the senators. But if you look at the polling, this is significant. Doug Collins, in the last poll taken, ahead at 34%. I mean, Kelly Loeffler never got above 20%. That's the highest she's polled. The highest Doug Collins has polled is 36, and he is leading in most of the polls. So he clearly has a bigger base than Kelly Loeffler. The Democrats are a bit more spread, but this actually creates the funny scenario. It is possible that the race ends up being between Collins and Loeffler, because if no one gets above 50%, which I don't think anyone will, it will be a runoff between the two leading candidates, which now apparently it might be Collins and Democrat Warnock, but it might also be two Republicans, Collins and Loeffler. Anyway, that's it from me today, guys. Please like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you later.